Greetings. My name is Dr. Perry Lyle. I'm a professor of criminal justice at Columbia College in Orlando. I wish to continue my public safety leadership conversations with a discussion today on police moonlighting issues. Police moonlight or work extra gigs, off-duty jobs to supplement their salaries, and many of them seem to do it. So it begs the question, so what if police officers work extra jobs to earn extra income? Now, the decisions and policies for moonlighting are made in the assemblies of executive police leadership, where the policies are made with organizational attorneys, inside or outside attorneys, usually in keeping with union leadership influences and with the advice of local politicians. The command structure will implement the policies and enforce the guidelines developed, and the policies will be amended from time to time. There are approximately 14,800 city, county, and state police agencies throughout the United States employing something like 780,000 sworn officers, those with arrest powers. Many of those officers engaged in secondary employment, commonly referred to as moonlighting, to earn extra income in a profession that has been known for inadequate wages. Again, it drives the question, so what? But let's look at some information and see if we can unpack some issues that will answer the so what question. Now, even the most progressive departments might not adequately regulate moonlighting activities, and the problems of fatigue, stress, and job burnout can result from excessive hours worked, and moonlighting, if not properly regulated, can exacerbate the problem. Studies have linked stress and burnout with lack of sleep and emotional exhaustion. Stress and burnout are associated with poor response times and inability to focus on tasks. Up to 32% of our police are injured on the job each year due to accidents on the job. Now, being awake for 19 hours is tantamount to having a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of 0.05%. In most states, 0.08 is the legal standard for driving while impaired. At 24 hours of being awake, the equivalency of BAC doubles to 0.10%, according to Villa in 2009. Now, there are pros and cons to moonlighting. One of the pros, obviously, is supplemental wages for police. Another is increased police presence paid for by private firms. Professional event security coverage at sporting events, concerts, and other public events where we need the cream of the crop, especially in light of today's terrorist activities. Celebrities in their high-profile occupations know the value of having a higher level, high-profile coverage and employ off-duty police officers. Now, human and nature-caused environmental disasters will open the floodgates, no pun intended, for an extreme amount of overtime for our police officers who go out and put themselves in very hazardous situations to protect us and help our communities get back on their feet. Our police support us with religious and funeral traffic control support as well. Now, some of the cons is that sleep deprivation, psychological and physiological issues can crop up due to too many hours work. Job burnout, health deterioration, and suicide risk increase. Tired cops equal poor job performance. Liability issues, conflicts of interest and corruption, diminished quality of life for our officers are some of the keynote issues or the con issues when working off-duty assignments for police. Secondary employment activities for police officers may have significant negative outcomes for both police officer and his or her employer. The central problem exists that unfettered access to unregulated hours worked beyond normal duty may induce sleep deprivation and the physical and emotional exhaustion is paramount. The phrase moonlighting actually appeared in the 1950s, representing people who worked second jobs for income. Working evenings by the light of the moon became a catchphrase, and has hung on today. Now, a number of studies have been conducted to better understand the phenomena of sleep deprivation, stress, job burnout due to excessive overtime, and other related occupational factors in nursing, transportation, education, firefighting, and policing. These studies have focused primarily on shift work and scheduling. According to the Bureau of Job Statistics, in 2010, the law enforcement job has one of the highest rates of injuries and illnesses of all occupations. However, little has been done to examine the relationship between internal police policies that may affect the outcomes associated with stress and job burnout due to moonlighting, and the problems are significant. In fact, they've gotten so out of hand with citizen complaints of corruption and tired cops that in the city of New Orleans in 2012, Mayor Mitchell Landrieu announced plans to reform paid work details within the Office of Police Secretary Employment Department, which was also in compliance with the Department of Justice consent decree levied on the city of New Orleans in 2011 to reform a lot of their operations. The use of moonlighting activities was one piece of that. According to Carlton in 2009, job burnout is a physical and mental state caused by severe strain placed on the body until all resources are consumed. Moonlighting or burnout might manifest itself in a distant stare, indicating that one is not fully present in the immediate situation. Job burnout can have a spillover effect, affecting one's off-the-job relationships with family, friends, and loved ones. And the risks of suicides are increased, as previously mentioned. One consequence of burnout is fatigue. Fatigue and sleepiness are often confused and substituted for each, but they're separate conditions. Sleepiness is the body's felt need to sleep. It's like when I eat a heavy lunch and I'm driving down the highway at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I feel the need to sleep. Whereas fatigue is a state of exhaustion, accompanied by lack of energy, which compromises physical and cognitive functioning. In 1910, Americans got about 9 hours of sleep per night. Now in 2002, that had fallen off to 6.9% or hours per night. And when monitored by electronic device instead of self-reporting, that actually dropped to 6.2 hours per night for individuals taking part of the study. Now, one strategy you'll hear over and over used by police officers, nurses, and others is that I'll catch up on my lost sleep on my days off. However, many experts advise that sleep is an important restorative function to the body that cannot be double banged. Therefore, mood swings, depression, irritability in healthy people of all ages results from loss of sleep. And cumulative sleep debt may be significant enough to impair decision-making, initiative, integration of information, planning, plan execution, and vigilance, awareness, obviously, and task. Science tells us that police cannot catch up on sleep loss. Now, in a study that I conducted in 2015 titled Moonlighting Police Policies That Regulate Secondary Employment, Possible Stress, and Burnout Issues, that full study may be obtained through your university libraries, or it was published by Procrast, and it's an open access document, and I encourage you to review the document in the full context. Now, based on the study, some of the recommendations that, or implications for practice that flowed out of there are as follows. Review policies and procedures that govern secondary employment, ensuring that they are clear and even-handedly enforced. use automatic tracking systems to monitor outside normal hours to ensure adequate rest and downtime, supervise off-duty jobs, follow the IACP model that not only regulates hours spent on outside details, but also assesses possible conflicts of interest and assignments deemed to be unfit and hazardous. Institutionalize wellness and educational programs and promote physical fitness as a means to improve individual health and stress reduction. Promote nutritional education and healthy eating habits with less reliance on caffeine, sugar, and other stimulants commonly used by those with demanding and erratic work schedules. Promote conducive day sleep environments at the home with no distractions. They're often referred to as sleep hygiene. Emphasize the benefit of anonymous consulting through employee assistance programs that can work on issues of family stress, financial stress, addiction, and so forth. Promote live within my means culture, and also take steps to change the assumption that being fatigued is just a part of being a cop. Let's look at a couple cases. January 1992, Detective Sergeant Stephen Bauer was shot by 4 Hispanic thugs while guarding the money transport at Kismet Bank in North Miami Beach. The roll-down fence barriers were inoperable, and Kismet Bank officials knew that. It left Detective Sergeant Bauer working this part-time job as the sole deterrent for the money heist. His death left a young widow and several small children. In 2008, Corporal Stephen Jackson, moonlighting as a security guard at Langley Apartments, a large low-income apartment project, was involved in an altercation with several black males and ends up shooting one of the men. The decedent's family filed a Section 1983 civil rights action as a result of his death. The Prince County government faced a jury award of $11.5 million for the wrongful death of Hezliya. The case was settled in 2011. The Corporal Jackson was working in a very large, dangerous complex that was known for a lot of violent type of people, and was obviously unsupervised. Case study 3, Seattle, Washington. At an all-night diner, a place where people congregated for after-hour partying, a night manager asked his officer to speak to a customer who had argued with his waitress and left without paying for the food. Unknown to the officer, the patron suffered from a mental illness. He grabbed the officer's weapon, shoots, and kills him. Now, the officer had told his favorite waitress, as he had worked that gig multiple times when he came on duty, that he was so tired, so please keep the coffee coming. Now, that's the type of tidbit of information that does not get recorded in a death certificate or any type of analysis to give any type of association to some of the contributing factors to a case like this. In conclusion, moonlighting among police officers has both advantages and disadvantages. Secondary employment enables officers to supplement what has traditionally been lower wages than are available in comparable professions. That in turn reduces the strain of feeling undercompensated and hence unappreciated for difficult work that police officers do. Now, as Griffin and Bernard noted in 2003, fatigued and overstressed officers are more likely to respond with inappropriate aggression, thus exposing themselves and the departments to harm and potential litigation. Secondary employment in law enforcement is a well-established phenomenon, and barring any widespread increases in salary for police officers, is likely to continue, although some municipalities have considered eliminating or vastly curtailing moonlighting in view of the cost of defending officers accused of misconduct in off-duty jobs. Sorting out the effects of moonlighting on officers' performance and well-being will continue to be challenging because being a cop will always be stressful, whether or not one moonlights. Despite that challenge, research should continue on a profession that is vital to the safety and security of all Americans. Thank you for your attention to this presentation. If it has been beneficial to you, please give me a thumbs up at the bottom of the page. Please link in and express your comments, as I would like to hear from you. Thank you and have a great day.